some potentially big news on Utah Jazz star Donovan Mitchell being traded to the New York Knicks. Knicks fans rejoice. ESPN's Brian Windhorst said yesterday on NBA Today that it appears inevitable that the New York Knicks and the Utah Jazz will reach an agreement that will see Donovan Mitchell end up in New York and the Knicks giving up a substantial draft haul in exchange. He said yesterday, and I quote, "I do think there's a good chance that Donovan Mitchell ends up going to the Knicks at the end of all of this." He went on to say, "And I think we're going to see a historic pick haul, even if the Knicks try to play hardball between now and then." Shams and Tony Jones of The Athletic also reported on Wednesday that the Jazz have had discussions with teams about potential trades for Mitchell, and that the Knicks have, quote, emerged as the focused destination over the past number of days. All signs are pointing to New York. All signs are pointing to New York being the future playing ground for Donovan Mitchell, who just 2 years ago, signed a 5-year rookie extension. Shows you how much those are worth these days. Donovan Mitchell, it looks like, is on his way out. We know that Rudy Gobert, he got traded, and we'll talk about how his trade actually is going to affect a potential Donovan Mitchell trade, but this is huge for New York. New York Knicks fans have been looking for the guy for a very long time. They have been looking for the franchise centerpiece, honestly, since Patrick Ewing left. I know Carmelo Anthony was great. It just didn't happen with Anthony and Stoudemire. Really, they have not competed for a title since Patrick Ewing. So they have been looking to essentially replace him for nearly 20 to 30 years now, and now they finally could have that guy in Donovan Mitchell. It's huge. Knicks fans were talking about maybe getting Zion. Every few years they're talking about maybe getting LeBron James. They're talking about maybe getting KD. I don't think any of those are likely over the next number of years. One guy that is seeming like he's going there is Donovan Mitchell. So I'll talk about what that means for the Knicks in a second, but I do want to talk about this pick haul that the Utah Jazz are about to get. Because the Utah Jazz, in that trade that saw Rudy Gobert go over to Minnesota, got 4 first-round picks. And on top of that, they got Patrick Beverley. They got a few other players. They got a massive haul for a guy who, honestly, Rudy Gobert, all respect to him, former 2-time Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA. He is not an offensive juggernaut. He affects the game in the paint a lot, but the NBA more so is a game that's becoming a perimeter game, especially out in the West when you're dealing with teams like the Warriors, right? But essentially, for a guy who's like an all-star, but also like not a superstar, they got 4 first-round picks and some key role players. Imagine what the Knicks are going to have to give up. Here's the thing about this trade, right? They are going to have to give up a key piece. And by key piece, I mean RJ Barrett is on the table. And at some point, if I'm the Utah Jazz, I make it a point. You're the New York Knicks. You want Donovan Mitchell so bad, RJ Barrett's on the table. You got to give me RJ Barrett. Otherwise, no deal. Play hardball with them. They want to play hardball with you. You play hardball back. Because here's the thing. I see a potential superstar in RJ Barrett. So if I'm the Utah Jazz, I am doing everything in my power to ensure that he is a part of this deal along with a draft haul. Because that Rudy Gobert trade, look, it's inflation in the NBA, all right? The price for Donovan Mitchell after that trade went up sky high. And New York Knicks, you can thank the Minnesota Timberwolves for that. So, of course, someone like Jalen Brunson is also on the table. Someone like RJ Barrett better be on the table. And if you're the New York Knicks, I think at the end of the day, you're going to have to make a decision. The best case scenario would be that you would find a way to play both RJ and Donovan Mitchell on the same team. They're two great superstars. RJ Barrett, I think, is I know a lot of people like to give him gruff over the year he had last year, but his rookie year was great. And I actually think that RJ Barrett, for someone who went number 3 overall, this dude, all the jokes that were thrown at him, he's gotten better every single year. Every single year he's been in the league, he's gotten better, right? The team didn't do well last year. RJ Barrett still got better as far as points per game, assists, rebounds, all that. He got better. So my thing is, you got to find a way to play both of them. RJ Barrett, he's a bit taller than Donovan Mitchell. You could probably play him at the 3 and go from there. But if I'm the Knicks, you got to keep both of these players on your team, because those are your two key pieces if you want to go make a run for a title. That's it. Outside of that, if you just have Donovan Mitchell and maybe a Jalen Brunson and whatever is left of Julius Randle, is it good enough to win a title? I don't think so. I think if you're the Knicks, you got to find a way to keep RJ Barrett. But if you have to make a decision, right? And this is the key part. If you have to make a decision about getting Donovan Mitchell and trading away RJ Barrett, and you're the New York Knicks, you better know. You better know what you have in RJ Barrett. You better know that what I'm looking at, as great as he is right now, he will never be as great as Donovan Mitchell is right now. Never. And if you know that, and if you're confident in that, then I say you can pull the trigger. But if RJ Barrett, a guy who, again, just came off of averaging 20 points per game, third year in the NBA, on the Knicks, he was, I think Knicks fans will even tell you, he was the driving force behind that playoff run last year. So, if he's your guy, you might have to draw the line in the sand and say, we're not trading RJ Barrett. But we'll see what the Knicks end up doing. Either way, it looks like they are dead set on getting Donovan Mitchell by hook or by crook. And if the Utah Jazz, considering what the Utah Jazz got from the Minnesota Timberwolves, they are definitely going to be the crooks here, because they're about to get a massive haul for Donovan Mitchell. We'll keep you guys updated on this story as it continues. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released.